Now we're going to go ahead and create a few more fields inside of our video model. One of them being actually generating the slug field, but then also the timestamp and updated. Those are really simple based off of what we just did here. So we'll go ahead and do timestamp is models.date time field and auto now add being true. And then updated is simply just auto now. Now, the reason that these exist is so our database knows, hey, when was this object added into the database? Unless, of course, it's already in the database in our case. And then also, when was it actually saved? Like, when was it last saved? Both of those things are really useful for that. So let's go ahead, and now that we've added those, let's go ahead and run python manage.py make migrations. And then, oh, we get an error. Okay, so this is not actually an error. It's just a warning telling me, hey, you didn't provide a default, so provide a default now, which we can do and which is what we will do, or quit and add a default, much like we did with our state options here. Or you could also add it being null or blank equals true, which is not what I recommend for timestamp or updated. So we're going to add a one-off default and just use timezone.now. Hey, timezone.now. Yeah, it's literally the exact same thing that we've been using, which was this time zone utility function, and we were able to actually set the exact same thing with the timestamp there. Now I'm going to go ahead and run the migrations. So python manage.py migrate, and then python manage.py test. Okay, cool. All of it is working and looking good. So now we're going to go ahead and add a slug field in here. So let's go ahead and do from django.utils.text import slugify. So what slugify is going to do is change our title, or take our title and turn it into this. And we're going to put it on the save method just like we did down here. So we'll say if self.slug is none, then self.slug equals to slugify of self.title. Simple enough, huh? Right here. Okay, so one of the things that we would probably want to check or verify is, hey, this slug or slugify, maybe we want this unique across all of our actual site. As in the title, that slug for that video title might need to be unique everywhere. That may or may not be true. In fact, I'm actually going to say I probably won't use the slug very often. It's just very, very common to use. Instead, I'll probably use the video ID as my default. So I'm actually going to add in one more clause here and say unique equals to true on that video ID. In other words, I don't really care if the slug field is unique, but the video ID, I do care. And this is a good time to think about it. So I'll go ahead and run python manage.py make migrations, and then python manage.py migrate. And of course, python manage.py test. All right. Now we get an error. Okay. This is not surprising, actually, because of our test. This is why we run tests. So inside of tests.py, look at our videos. Well, we didn't actually do video ID in here of ABC, and then video ID of something different. Okay. There we go. Now we create our test case again, and everything is nice and tidy. What we also want to do, though, is since we made some changes to these fields, I want to go ahead and bring in slugify as well and just verify that the slug of any of these objects is correct. So we'll go ahead and define self, or let's say test slug field, and we'll go ahead and get a query set of just video. Actually, we'll go ahead and say self.obja equals to that, and self.objb equals to that. And then now we can actually reference these things. So self.obja, we'll give it a title is equal to that title. And then the test slug is equal to slugify, actually using slugify now, of that title. And then we want to self.assert equal the test slug and self.obja slug. Okay, cool. Let's run the test again, and what do you know? There it is. Okay, so now if you want more advanced things related to the slug field and all that, check out Django Models Unleashed. We actually do go into it on how to better make unique slugs. But now that we've got our unique fields going on in here with our video ID, we can move to the next portion, which is actually making still making these lookups just a little bit better.